Really proud of our players. That's what Row the Boat's all about. That's what Never Give Up's all about. That's what energy, sacrifice, and doing it as a team's all about. And especially being the end racism highlighted game for us. It was really big for us and a lot of meaning. I'm really proud of our players for their HERE campaign, helping end racism through education. I'm proud of the faculty that's coming in and helping our players understand the history of racism and continually help our players educate themselves, and then they can educate people outside of that. Proud of our media department for making that impressive and very impactful video. I'm just proud of our players. They've taught me so much. Again, I told them in there, I said, listen, there's not going to be a lot of fans that remembered this particular game, being at it. It's one game, it's one win, but it just meant so much to us because of the adversity they faced and how many people were out. Not only that, how many people were out during the game, and how many people actually played in that game and contributed as a team, which we've been talking about this entire year. That's what it's going to take. So just really proud of our team as a team. Proud of our administration for what they allow us to do every day. And it's just a big win for us. It's one win, makes us 1-0 in the Purdue season, but that's a big win.
All right, let's go to Daniel House. Daniel, go ahead.
Hey, PJ, you mixed in the inside fades tonight, some mesh concepts and more quick routes. What do you think of the passing game concepts?
Well, what we have to do, especially with the situation everybody's dealt with and the challenges this year, you've got to make sure it's very hard to just put game plan. Okay, hey, these are going to be the 15 touches we get this guy because that guy might not be there. So it's making you hold true to a little bit more of your system where if one particular guy's out, you can still run that. So with guys like Daniel Jackson and Chris Ottman-Bell and obviously Bateman, Seth Green, we lost Clay this week, but being able to put people where they are and then run our system and be balanced. And you saw them being able to tilt towards Rashad in one high man, and Chris made some big plays, and Tanner made some big-time throws. We got to be more consistent in catching it. But I thought that, we were able to spread it around a little bit in the drop-back game. Protection was solid. Tanner was upright, and I thought he made some really good throws.
Let's go to Andy Greeter. Andy.
Hi, Andy.
PJ, what did the defense show you tonight with being that short-manned and having Rondell Moore and David Bell to have to contend with?
Just courage, determination, row the boat, never quit. Minnesota kid picks it off at the end, and still remember recruiting Josh Awney, and it was really who was going to turn the ball over first. It was just so hard to get a takeaway. Both teams were protecting the football really well. And again, we had to make some tough decisions, and as a head coach, you got to make some of those calls. But when you look at the end of that game, and they had every chance to fold, they just never quit, and that's what I want to see out of this team in 2020. I mean, there's going to be a lot of external expectations and external scoreboards and all that. This is about internal, and this is about focusing on these players mentally, physically, emotionally, academically, athletically, socially, spiritually. Excuse me, and watching how they finished tonight with as much adversity as they faced, with what that game meant to them. It just shows we played a ton of people, Andy. I mean, a ton of people. The participation numbers should be through the roof of how many people actually played. But that's what it's going to take in 2020. And it might not just benefit now, but that's going to benefit in the long run. And you've got to be willing to make some of those investments while doing everything you can to win now too. You have to. And that's our plan.
Meg Ryan, go ahead.
PJ, when did it kind of start to come together that you were looking at, your absences from whether it was injuries or COVID stuff throughout the week? When did it kind of come together that you were gonna be missing as many guys as you were tonight? And was this game ever in danger of not being played? Or I guess how do you kind of balance that part of getting all those positive or a little bit more positive COVID tests than there have been?
It was close. But again, our administration does an amazing job working side by side, hand in hand with the Big Ten, following all CDC and Minnesota State guidelines. Not only that, the Big Ten policy, and then making decisions that everything we can that are best for our student athletes. But the rapid testing has really helped that, identifying the spread of it. And it wasn't the only reason why people were out tonight, but there was a lot of players missing. And I'm just really proud of our medical staff and our medical team of always putting our players' health first. And that's very hard for those players to get that phone call. That's really hard. They put so much into this, and next thing you know, you're out 21 days, or you're hurt and you're out 2 weeks or a week, or there's not many games, so it can be devastating. And our mental health department team, Dr. Justin and Dr. Carly Anderson, what they've done to just help our student athletes and provide services for them and always just be there for them. I mean, it's really special, and a lot of people just see the scoreboard and the stats, and I get to see the whole program, and I get to see the people who really care about these student athletes every day, and I get to watch the student athletes care about each other. And they're very aware of everything. They're very aware of where we're at. And they're very aware of how we have to continue to stay safe and do everything we can and practice social distancing, washing our hands, wearing our masks, and doing everything we possibly can to stop the spread.
Dave Campbell, go ahead.
PJ, I guess what stood out to you about Tanner Morgan's game?
Just he was tough. He was tough tonight. He had an edge to him. He played gritty. He was accurate. Had a complete understanding of the offense, control of the offense, control of his teammates. Of putting them in the best position to be successful with ball placement, where it needed to be, when it needed to be there. Thought he saw the field well. We got to get better. I mean, all phases, we got to get way better. I mean, way better. Offense, defense, and special teams. I mean, we just got to keep growing. But that's part of the nature of the business, and you got to find a way to grow every day and keep fighting, scrapping, and clawing, and rowing the boat, and doing those types of things. But I thought he had a really gutsy performance tonight.
Let's go to Chip Scoggins.
PJ, can you give specifics just on how many players you were missing? There's been kind of a discrepancy whether you're down to 61 scholarship players. And also, what would you say to people that say, how and why could you play a game if you're missing 20-something players?
Because not all of them are COVID issues. And everything, the percentages work, right, based on the Big Ten and the red and the orange and the green, and everybody understands and was given with our medical team. The percentages of the daily testing, of how the rapid testing and the results that come back, there's a percentage with that fits into that. Remember, when a kid tests positive, they've got to be out 21 days. All right, so there's kids that test positive at different times that happen to be out. Hopefully we get some kids back here at some point. But again, it's one of those things that are always evolving. But again, we had 61 scholarship players available tonight, and then we lost some during the game. There were 20 plus players, either injured or with that were out because of COVID or other issues. But that's 2020, and hopefully we can continue to keep those numbers really low. But we're going to follow all Big Ten policy. Our administration is working hand in hand with our medical team and making every decision possible that's best for the team and the players' safety as we keep moving forward.
Let's go to Jeff Wald.
PJ, I was just curious if you had any update on Mo. It looked like he maybe suffered something with his wrist or something late in the game there, and he wasn't on the field for some of your most important offensive plays there at the end.
Yeah, it's hard. One thing I'll say is I think we have the best trainer in the country, Mike Sipniak, and I trust Mike with everything. And Mo's really tough, but you also have to be the adult and the medical team and the medical staff of knowing if a kid wants to really stay in there, whether to keep him out or put him back in there. And Mike Sipniak's always thinking about our players, always thinking about their health, and decided we need to shut him down, especially moving forward. If we want to be able to have him in the future, you got to be able to shut him down. And those are hard decisions to make, especially with the way the game's going, and you're going to need them. But again, nothing comes before our players' health whatsoever. And like I said, there's people that make that call for me, so I don't have to. That know way more than I do. But he was good after the game, and we'll find out as we keep moving forward.
Back to Chip Scoggins. Chip Scoggins.
Yeah, I apologize. I was on mute there. PJ, what was your view on that offensive pass interference there at the end?
I really couldn't see it. I was blocked from it. But you watch the replay, and they called a penalty. I mean, especially when it benefits you. When I saw the replay, I mean, it could have probably went either way. But there's a lot of contact, and when you look at it, and it's a penalty. I mean, there's some other things that are our side that you don't think's a penalty at times, but it's a bang play, and those things get called, and it happened to swing towards our favor if it happened to be a penalty. And again, I didn't get a great look at it, and even in the replay, I mean, I didn't get a great look at it because it only showed the end. So I don't have a lot of information for you on that one.
We'll take two more. We'll go to Daniel House, then Andy Greeter.
Hey, PJ, can you walk us through your decision-making process on the 4th and 8 play to Bell and then the 4th and short late in the game?
You didn't like them?
No, I like the 4th and 8. It was really good for the numbers.
Hey, listen. Okay, so you have to make decisions based on what's best for your football team and how the game is going. You can play the numbers. You can play a book. I play players, and I'm going to make decisions based on how our team is playing. And the way they were moving the ball in the second half, I figured we had to be able to I had tons of confidence in what we were going to do. We knew we were going to get man coverage, and our guy just had to be able to make a play. And you got to trust your players to be able to make plays, or you're never going to be able to move the ball down the field. And you got to be able to take some risk at time, especially this year. I mean, with what we're doing, I mean, I want my players to always know I believe in them. And 4th and 8, where we were at, we had to do that. I mean, what if the ball went in the end zone? It's a difference of 15 yards. Okay, so the risk was worth it to me. The 4th and 1, we have a missed assignment, or it's a great call, and it's unfortunate. But again, I thought the missed field goal was big for us. But again, 4th and 1, the way the game's going, we didn't stop them in the second half, and we didn't stop until the interception on the drive. Okay, so I've got to make decisions what's best for our football team to go win the game. And if we have an opportunity to go win the game on offense with the type of players we have on offense, I want them to know I believe in them. And I'm not saying that happens every time, but the flow of the game is going to make you make decisions as a head coach. And there's going to be really good calls, and there's going to be really bad calls. That's for all of you to judge at the end, and whether we're good or bad, in your opinion. We got to make the decisions that are really good for our football team at that particular moment. And I felt they were good for our football team. And one worked, one didn't.
Last question, Andy Greeter. Andy?
How do the absences and COVID things influence you as a coach in a given week?
I'm sorry, say that one more time, Andy. I apologize.
How does the absences and COVID influence you as a coach in a given week?
It challenges you. It does everything it can to test your patience. It tests your commitment to the process. It tests your nerves. It tests your anxiety. It tests your culture. It tests everything that you are as a coach and a man, because it is minute by minute. And we're so regimented as coaches and players, right? Everything. I mean, you could tell me a time of day, on what month, and I'll tell you where I'm going to be. I can tell you that 6 years from now, right? This year has not been like that. And to watch the mental, physical, and emotional toll it can take on people, it's helped me be a better person, a better coach, a better friend, a better leader. And that's not always easy. That doesn't mean it's easy. This is one of the hardest years. I think every coach would probably sit there and say that, especially if you care, because there are so much in our world, social injustice, COVID-19, everything that's going on in our society, the politics, the social media, everything. The daily testing, playing, not playing. There's not much social life. And when you have a program that's so much more than football, and so much about connectivity, and so much about being around each other, and so much that it makes us unique. And now it becomes a little bit more like it's from the outside, and the rules that are placed, it's like it's just football. And other than that, you can't be together. It's hard. And like I said, I think I'm better in every way. Doesn't mean it's easy every day. Doesn't mean it's easy on our staff or our players or our administration or our president or our kids, but it's taught me an awful lot. And I think we're all going to look back on this year and know that we all learned a lot and found out who we really were and who we really are. And we can either lie to ourselves and change, or we can lie to ourselves, say the same, or you can be honest with yourself and change. and keep finding a way to be better every day. So I think that's what it's taught me. I don't mean to get lengthy and preach, but that's a really special team in there. And like I said, this win isn't going to go down as one of the greatest wins in Gopher history. But I told them I'll never forget this day. I'll never forget this game because of what it meant, what it represented, how they won it, with all the adversity. Let's row the boat, guys. That's the culture.
Coach, we thank you for your time.
Thank you, everybody. Row the boat, Sky Go Gophers.
For student athletes, we'll have Chris Ottman-Bell next. We'll also have Tanner Morgan, Josh Ani, and Philip Howard. So we'll have Chris Ottman-Bell in here in a moment.